frustrate me at all. I think there's enough success for everybody. In fact, I see that as an example of what is the potential on the App Store, even for small developers.
I think you as my I'm just saying, like, just the odds of being that successful are much slimmer than I think people sometimes associate with it. So we just have to be realistic about betting the farm on this game or that game to lose.
I think it's a great reminder that we only have so much control over the success of our own games. We can put blood, sweat, and tears into the process, into the marketing, and there's only so much we can do. Sometimes a game takes off, and we can't necessarily say why, and sometimes a really phenomenal game just doesn't make any headway, and we can analyze the factors, we can get some insight out of that, but there is a very strong element of chance as well.
Yeah, and I'll just touch on why I'm frustrated. I totally agree that it is a great pinnacle of saying, look, an indie game. I mean, this guy, I think he's Vietnamese and he's 29 years old, and he, made this great title. He probably never has to work on a day in his life. I'm not frustrated with that in the least. I think that's great. I am, and I'm not just covering my bases. I love it when indie game developers shoot to the top of the charts. So it's actually not what it is. But in terms of, when all of us, I'm sure, know that feeling when we go, maybe we spend a year of our lives on something, and then, what gets to the top of the charts is arguably what the industry refers to as one of the most poorly designed games in a long time. Makes money. I mean, that I find frustrating. I find the common public, the mainstream approach of sometimes what gets to the top can be frustrating. Am I happy that I'm indie dev? Oh man, absolutely. I mean, I think you were around when you got to the end of my speech. I need people to make great games. I want people to make those great games. Just because I don't personally love Flappy Bird also doesn't mean that it's not a good game per se. But anyway, that's all I'll touch on. I'd love to talk about this more later too.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
I'll add one more point. I think sometimes as game designers, we can have a myopic view of why something has become extremely popular. And I'll take Snapchat and Tinder as being two kind of really poorly designed apps that became wildly popular. If you first used Snapchat, the thing did not work. I mean, once in a while you get messaging that disappeared. That was not the first concept of disappearing messaging. There were other apps that did it. They were just the one that really became wildly popular. And the app didn't work really well, but they just had good marketing, and they were two young guys that were able to market their app really well. Tinder is the same story. Three guys out of LA who just had a lot of hot friends who promoted the app. And to be quite frank, it was not the best app I'd ever seen, but they made it really simple. And even though it wasn't the most, best designed or best developed app, it worked well enough that users kept coming back. And so we may look at it, I sat there playing with Tinder once, being like, they have loading issues, they've got tabling problems. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is this so popular? Why do people like it? But at the end of the day, the users thought that there were really hot people on it. So something about Flappy Birds, people like it. Maybe it's the hot girl in the bar type of thing that's rejecting you, and people just won't like being rejected. I don't know, it's their own self-loathing. But whatever it is, users like it, so it is what it is, I guess.